Rudy.
Hello, and welcome back to Two Chairs, One Chat. We are your hosts, Derry Cox.
Rudolph Thurman.
Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode. This is something that we love to do, and I'm just going to keep reminding everyone that we love to get in these chairs and chat it up.
That's right.
About a whole host of topics. And before I get into our topic for today, I want to share our books with you guys. For those of you who don't know, my first book, The Scars I Come With, available wherever books are sold. And the second one, The Child Within, also available wherever books are sold.
All right. And my first book is Pages of Potency. You can get it on Amazon. And you can get my second book also, Visual Revelations, Amazon as well.
Yay. Today... So how's everybody going? I mean, I can ask a question, but I don't know what your response is going to be. But I hope everybody is doing well. We try to, think outside the box, I think, with our topics and think about what we would like to maybe help others to start conversation. Mm-hmm. Today, we're starting with poetry.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some poetry today, Derry.
I love poetry. I was introduced, I've always known about poetry, but writing part has never been a part of me. I never thought about it until my dear friend here, Rudolph, introduced me to it. I think he first time you said, would you like to be down with this collaboration that I'm doing? I think it was called Time.
Yeah.
I should remember to bring that up, pull that up to see what I wrote at that point.
It was good. You did really good.
Okay. Well, you're the one that kind of that actually introduced me to even think about writing a poem.
Right.
And I appreciate you more than ever for that, because now I consider myself to be a poet, and now I have my first poetry book on its way very soon. So yay me, and thank you very much. Thank you, Rudolph. I don't know what it is. It's been for the past couple of weeks, I love to say my friend's name, like his full name. I always call him Rudy, and now it's just Rudolph. I don't have no idea why.
You're having a lot of fun with this,
yes, I am. It's really funny to me, but I like it. I think I'm addressing you properly. Not like I wasn't addressing you properly before, but I'll have a lot of fun calling you by your actual name.
By my full name.
Yeah, by
right?
your full name, by Rudolph. Yeah. So there you go.
Oh my God.
I will try to behave. I will try myself to behave on that one.
It's all good.
But let's dive into what poetry is, right?
Yes,
Poetry is literature that evokes a concentrated imaginative awareness of experience or a specific emotional response.
Yes.
What's wrong with my words? True language chosen and arranged for its meanings and rhythm, right?
Right.
I consider you an expert because you are brutal. No, I'm sorry. You are really gifted, and you are lethal with the pen. I love your spoken word pieces that you have shared with us. You have two amazing poetry book, and I can't wait to see what else you bring out. What you bring out inside of you. I mean, for those of you who don't know, he's on Instagram at Poetry is Visual. And hopefully Joe will put that up on the screen as we say it. It's Poetry Visual.
Poetry
is Visual.
Yeah, Poetry IZ Visual.
Yeah, you know it better. It's yours,
it's
right?
All good. It's all good.
So you can find him there, and you can listen to his spoken word pieces. They're really, really good, and I especially like all of them, like the majority of them. There's one or two, no, just wait. But he knows I'm always honest with him about everything. It's if I'm not feeling a piece, I'm like, what's this? No. But I'm always able to grasp what you're trying to say.
Right.
I consider you a true messenger through your pen and your spoken word pieces, whatever what I've seen so far, and I know that you're capable of doing so much more. And what was I gonna say? The spoken word pieces that you've been bringing out lately has been amazing. Like, I'm like, this guy needs to be on a worldwide stage so the world could hear him, because your spoken word pieces really hits and really bring those messages that I think the world needs. So.
No, I appreciate that, Derry.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that means a lot to me.
And you need to tell this guy too. What's his name? The guy that collabs a lot with you.
Moses.
Yeah. Moses needs to. I mean, I know he's not into the whole social media thing, but I think the world also needs him out there. You know, so as much whenever.
I'm talking to him.
Yeah, but you know, he has to actually want to come out and do it, and he has to be comfortable with doing that.
Right.
So speaking about poetry, there are there three main types of poetry, or is just like overall there's many types? I'm not sure. I'm just going off of what they said.
I don't know if there's like a specific like number, because it's like poetry is your own form of expression, right? So I think what distinguishes other people from other people is, you know, the way that they paint their picture, the way that they put their words together, the way that they, you know, certain words that they use to describe, you know, certain things, right? You know, some people have like certain lanes that they stay in when they write poetry, right? So you have some people that write love pieces, dark pieces, and, you know, they just have like their own format. And I guess some people, they would call it like their own signature, right? So it's like coming across a person's poem and just reading it. Some people, after a while, if they have a lot of pieces out, you can know that piece belongs to that person without anybody having to say anything. Like if you're on to that person's format.
Yeah, if you're consistently watching them do their work.
Right.
But as far as like, you know, there's like narrative, dramatic, and lyrical, right?
Okay.
Those are like some types of things. I'm just like really new to understanding the whole depth, and I like to read about it and explore about it. I know that for many people, I say when they see me doing poetry, it's like, oh my God, that was a great piece. And sometimes most of the times I'm looking to see where that's coming from, right? But it's somewhere in here because I have a whole book to prove it, right? And it's only because, you know, there was a seed of poetry planted inside of me, and then you kind of watered it, right? You came and you drop a drop of water on it, and then it started to bloom out of, you know, of that. So that's where that came from.
Wow.
So every day I'm learning more and more, because I see different styles of poetry. I see people express themselves differently. And I love it all. Sometimes, you know, you're like, what is this? But then you have to understand who, you know, the person that's writing it. You have to respect what they're writing, and appreciate the fact that they're even stepping out to share their gift with you.
Yes.
Because it's not an easy thing to do, right? To express, you know, to share your art, to share your work. A lot of people may not like it, but then there's a whole lot of other people that may like
that
it.
Do.
And you can't please everybody, because in general in the world you just can't.
No.
Right? It's always going to be somebody saying it, or then there's somebody that likes it and like, oh my gosh, I really felt that, or whatever.
And everything is not for everybody.
Exactly.
And I think when we learn how to, you know, accept that, like create because you have the love for it, right? Not create because, you know, you're trying to please others. Right. So it's like when you create, because that's what your gift should not be defined by pleasing others. Like, you know, if you're considering writing, you know, your gift, poetry as one of your gifts, write because of the love of it, right? Because it's something that's inside of you. So do it, and just know that it would touch somebody, right? So it doesn't have to touch everybody, but it would touch somebody.
Maybe it's just meant for one person.
That
right?
too.
And then I think once you realize that you have a gift of writing poetry, God gave you that gift. You know, you didn't fall into it or whatever the case is,
Right.
but He gave that to you for a specific reason, right? And that's where we have to like use our gifts to inspire, to motivate, to encourage, to shine a light on a topic. And that's basically why I love it, because I get to choose what I want to write about on any given day. And in the poetry form, it's, you know, for me, when I'm writing, I like to create kind of puzzles, right? So, so you're gonna try to figure out this puzzle.
Sipping the coffee.
Figure out if you can solve this puzzle. And I think that's how I write most of the time. Like, try and figure out what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's plain as day because
Yes.
you know how I express myself. But it's been a very good year of writing poetry, and I'm really really excited about sharing my book with everyone so they can see what's in there. I left it for a while. I put it down for a while because I was constantly going back and reading, and I was like, I'm not sure about this. But then I left it for a good time, I think over a month and a half, and then I went back in to read it. And when I read it, I was like, hey, girl, you're doing something here. Okay.
I want to say this, right? You know, I tell it to you all the time, but I'm going to say it here on Two Chairs, One Chat. You are an amazing poet.
Oh, thank
right?
you,
You are
Rudolph.
an amazing writer. You're writing, like, I'm still, like, blown away, like, piece after piece, like, you get it. Like, when it comes to, like, this poetry thing. It's funny how you would look at me and you would say, you know, things about me, like, in my writing, and I could stand here today and look at you and say,
You mean sit? No,
I like that. Yes, I can sit here today. Sit here today and tell you that I'm a fan of you, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I
That's
am.
good.
Like, I'm
Well,
a
thank
fan.
you, Rudolph.
Yeah, of
Thank you,
course.
Rudy.
Yes, I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of your work, and anytime that you share, you know, with me that you're gonna put out something, and you know, I already know ahead of time, like it's gonna be great, you know, because I just feel like, and you know how to cover so many different lanes too. So it's like you have a lot of dynamic, like, in your writing. So it's like, it's so great to just, like, watch your range and see when you started and where you are today, and to also know where you're gonna go. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. That is true. Thank you, Do. I appreciate it. Coming from the person who inspired me to write, or give me that chance, I think, to showcase what I'm capable of doing when it comes to poetry, right? Everybody else, we're not here to talk about everybody else, but
Right.
I think that there's a lot of people maybe don't like the growth in my poetry. I'm not gonna sit here and say maybe they do, but I'm a person who analyze. I sit and I watch, and I look at action and reaction to things. I'm not always assuming that somebody acts this way or whatever, but it makes the mind wonders, like, what is happening? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And so, just whatever. But
Just whatever.
whatever. Because it's like to go into that is like just a waste of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you have to you be able to say, okay, well, I see you, I get it, I see you, but it's okay. Just do you. You know, just do you. It's all right. But I learn a lot in the poetry world. I respect people's gifts and people's art. For me, sometimes And it's not very often because of my spirituality, because of my beliefs. There's certain things I refuse to sign off on. And to me, I really think hard about the like. I just don't like something because there's a like button on IG or Facebook, not because I like the person means I like what they do. And it could be for the same thing for me, right? People can
like
be like,
that you're saying this.
I'm like people can say, well, I don't like what you write, so I don't have to like it. And if you don't see me liking it, know that I just don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's perfectly okay. Right? Like when I sit and I think about it, I'm like, it's okay. But I know I'm not writing anything crazy. So for you to be in your feelings about it, then maybe check yourself. And like I check myself.
I am really liking that you're saying this because it's honesty, right? It's honesty, right? And if amongst each other we look for honesty, right? To do an action and actually don't mean it, it's dishonest, right? So is my dishonest action just to please you, is that good for you? But you have to think to yourself, is it the truth, right? So if I'm saying that I like something, if something is great or this, whatever, but I don't honestly feel that, you know, should I just satisfy you by just giving you whatever you want? Like, we have to get to a place where we can accept that, hey, you know what? If somebody doesn't like something, then they just don't like it, right? So, like, we shouldn't lose sleep, like over it, because you must like it for yourself, over everybody else, right? Because of course you're gonna want some support and stuff like that, but if you're not getting a certain amount of likes or like support from somebody from your work that you know that you put your all in, you know that you put your all into it. Like, why does somebody else have to pat you like on the back? You know what you did. Like, so you like it. Just like we said earlier, like, everything is not for everybody. Some people will like what you do, and some people will not. Keep pushing, because what's going to happen, you're going to fall for the trap where if you're basing everything off of that, you can lose yourself and pull back from your art, pull back from your gift. And remember, that's not the reason that you're doing it, right? You're doing it because it's in you, and it's your gift, and you want to share it. And that matters the most.
Of course, very much so. And don't let ordinary people validate your greatness. So don't dim yourself or because you...
See you?
Yeah, pretty much. So there was something I was thinking about when you were talking, and I don't know what it was, but hopefully I get back to that and talk a little bit about what I was thinking about. So of course, like you were saying, we have to like be able to like what we do, our own creative art and our gift that God has gifted us with, and also back to, I would rather someone not like my stuff because they don't actually like it. I don't want you to just hit a like button because you know me, you like me as a person, you think I'm pretty, you think I'm kind. I don't want it. I don't like false nothing. Don't be fake with me on no sort of level. Just make sure that what I do is strive to make sure that what I'm putting out, someone can learn something from it, be inspired by it, you know, and want to create themselves. You know, they look at it, it was like, oh my gosh, she's writing. I want to write. I'm going to write something just like that. And, you know, be happy about it. That's what I want, you know. Not because, and another thing is, I am not going to like something for someone which I don't like and go against my own, you know, my own rules. the things I stand for.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Your beliefs.
Yeah.
And even when you mentioned the beliefs, like earlier, like let's be clear on what exactly that we're saying. We all have our own beliefs, right? No one is moving around on the platform trying to tell anybody, you must believe in what we believe. You believe what you believe, we believe, but we're going to believe what we believe. We're just saying what comes along with believing in what we believe. I can't co-sign something that I don't believe, right? Because that contradicts what I believe, right? So it's like I can't contradict that for you. But that doesn't mean I don't like you, right? You know, or I can't associate with you, but I just don't have the same beliefs as you.
Yeah.
And that's different.
It really is different. But for me, I respect everybody. Like, because you really don't have to answer to me for anything. And that's where I stand on that. There's something much greater than all of us. And so, we just have to know what we're doing in our individual lives, because we all going to stand alone in so many things, like we are birthed alone, So it's just something for us to pause and think about where we want to go, what we want to be doing. Do we want to just pass through the earth? Do we want to inspire? Do we want to leave a mark? I was here. Hello, I was here. Because it's a never-ending world, and I know a lot of people come against me when I say that, but it's proven. God,
It's all
just
good.
going around. So let me ask you before I get into here. First of all, your sweater here, poetry, and you have that acronym, pouring out emotions to reach you. That's beautiful.
Wow.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And look, he has his own acting over here. Poetry is visual. Awesome.
Thank you.
Have to put that? You have to do one where you put it right in the back there.
I have it on. I have it on one of my other hoodies.
Okay.
I have a different color hoodie that I designed and I have my name on the back
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
your whole brand right there. You better put that thing on there. Get it, Rue. So let's talk about what inspires us to write. So I will ask you, what inspired you to write?
Okay.
So
all right. So my inspiration could come from so many different places, right? So I pull from life in general, like whether it be my own experiences of others, just things that, like, I could be walking down the street and people don't even understand. It could be like the slightest thing that I can hear, and it could spark something for me, right? Because I feel like with the gift that's in me, like I can pull from like anything, right? I can even pull from music, from all different genres of music. I could be listening to different genres of music and somebody says something inside of there. I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. Let me make this poetic. Let me turn this into something. I can make something out of what I heard or what I experienced or what I seen, So I pull from many places.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's kind of like I can write at any time, morning, noon, or night. I could be on my computer, my desk at working, and something comes to mind, and I'm over here all in my phone because I write a lot in my phone, in my notes. I'm like,
Me too,
what am I doing? I'm writing. And so at any time, I write. I love to write about important things. I love to write about love because I think it's an amazing thing. And And so many people are missing it, right? A lot of people are really, they have family, they have friends around, but they're so lonely inside. I think sometimes they don't even feel love, right? And I love to write about love, not to be, throwing it in anybody's face, but
Right.
just to say how amazing it is and how it's good to be loved and it's good to love. It's good to feel, it's good to love,
Yeah.
and to give love. So I love to express about love. I love to bring awareness to the things that are happening. And, I'm very passionate about like sex trafficking and the kids that are hungry and homeless and stuff like that. So once I could bring awareness to what's happening around the world, it doesn't have to impact me personally, but I see and I know that these things are out there. So I like to write about stuff like that. And even in my books, like my book, The Child Within, and that's just like my signature. So author Derry Cox know that every book, all my books will have something that speaks to something that I'm passionate about, because I always create a character that talks about it and to bring awareness to people. So I think that's very important for me as a writer, as an author, as a poet. That is something that really keeps me on my toes.
That's
because I
awesome.
could be warm in my bed, but I also think about everybody else that's not warm, or the kids and the girls that are being trafficked throughout the world. And parents are looking for them, and husbands are looking for them, and for their girlfriends or whoever it is. It's a problem. And gotta continue to talk about it. But I think you answered the question where you pull from, right? Because you said you can just write from listening to music, and
or just like things like
you
in
have a
life.
lethal pen though. Like, you could really stab someone with your words. That's why they say words are very powerful. But you don't do it in a bad way. Don't get me wrong. It's something that will make you pause and think. And if you're fighting with demons, especially your spiritual pieces, if you're like a demon or you're being used, because we don't battle against flesh and blood, but through principalities of darkness.
in high
And
places.
so, all of that. So, Terry is just me. She be just doing too much sometimes. But, so to bring the point, right? Like, when I see people acting crazy or getting crazy, I'm like, you don't even realize that you're being used, right? Some people don't realize their actions is that they're being used by all these darkness around them and stuff like that. And I don't know where that come from, but when you write your spiritual pieces, I think it makes heaven happy, it makes God happy, and the enemy rowdy, be getting all reckless back there. They don't even want to touch a like on your post. It would disrupt anything.
And that's okay. Like, because what's the funny thing about the platform? It's like, this is because,
and we're talking about Instagram for people that really don't know what would he refers to when he says
platform.
Platform. Which platform? What you talking about?
Lights and stuff, right? The thing about that, like really quick, is like even if somebody don't press it, it don't mean that you didn't read it.
Right. So you may have gotten sting somewhere.
So
just don't let
don't
let the devil and all the darkness use you. Just like, I mean, I always call him a messenger, because I think we're all messengers. In some ways, some others I have no idea, but that's not me to be judging about anything. I just remove myself from situations I don't think I'd belong. But besides that, I always tell you, burn the whole place down, because I think it's so little. Like, you would just have the devil and all his minions, whatever that word is, they just be rowdy, like So
I mean,
continue to do what you're doing when it comes to that. I love your spiritual pieces, and I pray for you to continue to use your gift to stomp out the enemy and the devil and all the darkness that comes around us at times.
Yes, amen.
What do you hope to accomplish in your writing? Like, like, besides you love to write poetry, what do you hope to accomplish with doing that?
In terms of the writing aspect, I just really, I hope that people really take the time and absorb my words, absorb the things that I'm saying, because I know with all of my writings, there's a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really hope that they understand the message, take the message, because some of the messages are things that are helpful, to each other. Some of the messages are even though I'm the composer, a message is for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes a person will pause and say, what does that mean? Like, I don't, like, what do you mean message for yourself? Sometimes that's the beauty of writing. You writing it, and sometimes people would think that you're just writing just to share, and you want somebody to look, but you don't understand that I'm pulling it from someplace. And sometimes I look at my own stuff and say, wow, I wrote that, and maybe something that I even wrote can help me.
I do that a lot. Did I write this? Okay. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think I answered my question. I think I answered this question earlier when I said that in my writing, I always try to bring attention to the things that are on my mind and I'm passionate about. So my hope as well, and my prayer as well, is that when people read it, it stirs something up in them that they may want to help in that way. They may want to bring awareness to it. It's poetry to me is not all about fun and games and lovey-dovey, and love and stuff like that. It's about using the gift to bring things up that people really need to be paying attention to. That's
awareness.
what poetry is really about, bringing awareness. We can talk love, and I can say roses are red and violets are blue and all the other people, I don't know you, but all that stuff. Like, we could do all of that, but it's like not only we're going to talk about love too, and this selfless love, about not only talking about ourselves. Like, we can express ourselves, and we can express ourselves through poetry and saying how we feel about love. And he left me and he broke my heart and he did that, but there's more to it. The world still goes on, and there's still people. I think that's also about being selfless. And not always looking at me, and what I want, what I've been through. I empty myself out in that book, and I think that's it.
Oh, I know.
And the first book, for those of you who don't know, the Scars I Come With, where I told the past story about myself. And so I don't need to be dwelling up, keep writing about my past and all of that. It was time for me to move on and elevate where it's
that was a chapter in your life.
Yeah, and now it's I think some of my poetry pieces, Derry's Poetry Launch, for those of you who don't know, on Instagram, you can check out my work there. It's private. You have to knock, and I'll open the door for you. So some of my poems that I've written does talk about abuse and talk about being hurt and stuff like that. But that's not what I'm dwelling on. Like, I don't dwell there because it was a real tough time for me.
Right.
So I've released that because God has changed my life. So now when I go and I talk to people, or when I interact with people, or even through my writing, I bring it up, but not about me personally, about somebody else that's going through, maybe going through the same thing that I am, and how at the end you can be strong, or how you can find God, or how God can help you. You know how I write, so that's kind of like that.
That first question that you had asked me about what inspires me to write, did you answer that for yourself? Like, what inspires you to write?
I think I did. I told you about, like, when I think about the children, when I think about people being sex trafficked, and it gives me the motivation. I'm motivated to bring awareness to the situation that I am aware of, like the things that are happening out throughout the world, not only in America, not only in Guyana, but everywhere. You know, the children that are suffering. I think I wrote a piece about that where you can see the children with the water in the buckets and stuff like that, and things that people take for granted now. You know, because they have running water and stuff like that, but they don't think about the people that don't, the less fortunate. And that's what inspires me to write. The fact that I love to write. Before I was writing poetry, that's the first book, and from there I'd already started I realized that I can character build, and I can create characters, and that's where the second book started to come from. So.
Yep. That's one right
So
here.
the one question I have before I get into this book, because I want to ask you about a specific poetry, poetry, since we're talking poetry today. What have we learned? Like, what have you learned about writing poetry from writing poetry? Is there anything that you have learned? I think you said that people have different styles and different things that they like to write about.
I'm like, from when I first started all the way to now, and just seeing like the creativeness. Like, I think that's the part that moves me a lot. Like, it's one thing to put out a piece, but just seeing the creative effort that a person uses to put together a piece, right? So
For
it's
some
like,
people.
right?
Oh my gosh, Jerry. I have to talk to myself for the second person. Oh my gosh, Jerry, stop it. I am not, I'm just joking.
No, you're an awesome person. It's the creative process that some people use when they're putting a piece like together. Like I'm moved by that. Like whether it be images that people use, people paying attention to the right tone to use for certain pieces. So you can't do whatever tone you want. Depending on the context of the work, right?
You can't be angry in a love piece.
Right.
Why are you mad?
Yeah, it's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you gotta pay attention. It's like that's where I feel like the correlation with poetry and acting is, right? So performing, the piece. So just seeing like all of that kind of stuff. Those are the things that, along the way on the road of poetry and seeing more, like those are the things that I began to love more, and I'm moved by it, so I want to see more of that. I want to see, it's one thing for us to be like writers, but I want to see more people display the more of the creative aspect, like of it, like add things to it, like background sounds, skits, or all kind of stuff like that, because it's still poetry. Like, have full control of what you're doing.
Yeah, we do. We can write about the cats and the dogs and open doors and closed doors and love and real love and fake love and all the other things. And, I wrote a piece about this politician, and I don't think I ever posted it because, they be getting me riled up. But I want to ask you about this poem in your second book, Visual Revelations. If you haven't purchased this book yet, and the other one, where is it?
The other one's right here.
Pages of Potency. You need to go get them, right? Yes, you should. Okay.
Thank you.
So this one is called Crumble. And I just want to know where your mind was.
All right, go ahead. Read it, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Have you ever been down and out looking all about, but don't hear a sound or a shout? What is this all about? I've been in trouble, face in the puddle, my soul yearning for a spiritual huddle. Is anybody there? Does anybody care? I've made myself so available for people. Entitlement got some feeling like they are more than equal. I guess the signs weren't clear. I watched people release their tears while I was the ear, but there's a lot of steps on the ladder if you watch the stairs. But now, and that's not STAIRS, that's STARES. But now, because of a difference of opinion and refusing to be a minion, it's like I'm talking to the air. I guess this is what I get for being so sincere. You heard his word, some responses were too cavalier. The guy in his words, like, am I wasting my time? What you call that? What you your wordplay? Yeah, you're just really good. Wasting my time or losing my mind. How is loyalty defined? You tell me why and who was ready to stand in line. So how do you feel so comfortable to stand there and lie? Is it because I refuse to not be stagnant and die? I chose to grow and climb. You don't love me? You're not a supporter of mine. I was distorted. I learned my value, and you can't afford it. I move with a cause. I watch things dissolve. Once I evolved in a direction where there was more blessings. Now I see things as a collective. There has been opportunities to correct it, but now there's no connection. I hope you now can get my message. Bravo! This is a fire piece. Burn it all down, Rudy. Burn it all down. This is really good. I think I love the wordplay here. And I say wordplay because I'm really learning about poetry a lot, and I love how you just maybe you can explain it better. What is it that I'm trying to say here? I love your wordplay.
Yeah. I mean, no. You said it right. I mean, you said it right.
No.
I thought you had another question about
but the other question is,
know.
what inspired you to write this piece?
All right, Debbie.
Okay, what inspired you to write this piece?
So this one was real experiences. So I'll be honest with that, right? This was real experiences. You know how I am. You know how I am as a person. You know my heart. I'm caring, and I know one of the things.
That's okay. I got it.
You got it? Yeah. So I know you always look out for me, and one of the things is that you don't like when people, take advantage of me, use me, and that's why I care for you like a lot, like for that. It's great to have people in your life that care for you on that level where they don't want to see certain things happen. But unfortunately, there were things that happen, to me, in life, dealing like with people, and some people will read a piece like that and they'll say, they'll be dismissive and say, oh, he was in his feelings, and my response is, I was in my truths, right? So it's like,
Speak your truth, Rudy.
So it's like, if my truths, is something that you have a problem with, I mean,
then you have a problem.
Then you're just gonna have a problem because it's like, because I'm just gonna speak my truths. Like, it's it's frustrating, when you go through like certain things, but you thank God anyway, because through your experiences, these are the things that's supposed to make you stronger. You're supposed to learn, from your experiences. They're lessons, right? So learn from your lessons, and you learn how not to put yourself in certain positions again, for certain things, to happen. And that's all I was writing, like with that piece. It was experiences. It was personal, experiences that I've been through, with people, and just coming to the state of recognition, the state of understanding of where you and people are today.
Okay, a very great expression of your truths. Very well done. I think you have.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely have a piece from you that I want to read. Amazing poet.
Oh
you know?
my goodness! Let's see.
You know, this piece I was looking.
Which piece is that?
It's a love piece, and I thought that your writing. I mean, I always love your writing, but I want to read this one. It's called "Love Me." You said, like the softness of brushes, his finger touches every inch of my face. Our eyes met in a gaze. I felt his love as my body got heated. Ouch. The night seems young, but it was getting late, and I couldn't wait to be in his arms. Like a rush of adrenaline, I've anticipated this moment. My love has returned to me. He flamed a fire that was tamed. He left me this way. Sometimes it's hard to convey feelings of passion, the excitement of being romanced and loved by this man that I love. His body called my name. It's a familiar place of sweetness, a place of pure bliss. The red room was prepared. Silk sheets with our fantasies at peak. Wow, you talking about wordplay? What? Yo, silk sheets with our fantasies at peak. Yo, my heart blushed. Something beautiful was about to blossom. Okay. All right now. I could feel his heat. Okay. Our stares became more intense as my love closed the door. So let me wait. You know, certain questions I'm not gonna ask, but
Yeah,
but what I'm gonna say is that's brilliant writing.
Thank you.
Because as a visual writer, right? I'm reading your words, and it's one of those pieces where you can close your eyes and put on an audio, and you can picture everything line for line. That means your pen is serious.
Yeah.
That means your pen is serious for you to paint a picture like that. Like, you know, it's. I'm gonna say this here. I've been saying great things about you. I feel like if you can do that, you're right there with somebody that could write a script.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's something that I think I've expressed that to you, something that I'm really looking forward to, you know, embracing and dipping my feet into those waters.
Yeah.
As you know, I love to write and create characters so I can create. But most of the times when I'm writing my poetry, if I'm not writing to bring awareness, is what I have experienced. So...
Okay.
So imagination and thinking about what I'm doing next with my love, or you know, and stuff like that. This is kind of like where that came from. So I like to write in my truths as well, whether it be love or you know anything else that I'm writing. It's kind of like what I've experienced, and the majority of my love pieces. Even if I'm collabing with someone, it will be my part will be my personal experience. And so I envision it and I write about it and I express my passion in or whatever I was taking part in into my writing.
I love that you said that. That leads me to this. I love that you said that you can collab with someone. But so since you mentioned like love pieces, right? So that's amazing, right? So you collab with someone like on love pieces, and sometimes a person that doesn't understand poetry, they will look at it like, okay, so are you talking? Do you have to talk to the person that you're collaborating with? And it's like some people may want to, but you have some people that don't do that. They write from their own experiences, and it just comes together to be a great collab.
Of course. course.
And that
That's kind of troubling.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a problem.
No, but I'm just saying.
No, but I get it.
Yeah,
But
you
know,
get
the
it.
idea that actually people actually think that way, it's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
troubling.
Yeah.
To think that I don't, like if I'm collabing with some guy that
Yeah.
lives in
Anyway.
Pennsylvania or Connecticut, one of those states,
Yeah.
all the way, never met him, don't know who he, but just like, hey, you want to write? And we write together, and we write a love piece.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how does
Yeah, you don't even know. You don't even know. Like,
know
you
him
know you like that.
You know, like, so you have to write, because I would think
Yeah.
that most people, when they're doing a collaboration, they're bringing their best, they're bringing their
Yeah.
experience, they're
Yeah.
bringing the way they feel with their loved one,
Yeah.
not with, or
Yeah.
maybe their fantasies,
Right.
but not
so,
with
so-
you.
Right.
You
So
know
that's
what I'm saying?
right. So that's what I was gonna say. It's like you could bring your experiences like together as a collab, or you can just pull just from a place of art.
Right.
Right. So that's the thing about poetry and writing. So the art part is you can create something so good that you never even experience because you have the gift of writing in you. You know, so and that's the thing that I like.
I may
because
not be able to do that though.
I can't doubt you not after seeing all your writing. I can't. No. I will
Well,
not.
yeah, I guess so, because I am a creative writing.
Yes.
So I
There you
yeah,
go.
I'll
Claim
take that
it.
back. I am a creative writer, so yeah, you're right with that. So I won't hold myself on that. I won't hold myself back on saying
I mean, look at your look at your second book.
Did you
right?
read it? No.
You're gonna stop. You had to come from a creative place with this, right?
Yeah, that
so,
book is
so
book
the
is
characters
something
that you
it's
created,
amazing.
right? So the characters that you created in this, right? So those are not your experiences.
It's not.
Right? So
but it's different, right?
Yeah.
Poetry is something that's personal to me. And when I say personal to me, I get more expressive.
yeah.
I'm more expressive in my writing because I pull most of the time on my experiences.
Right,
now, when
right.
I'm writing novels or writing books like The Child Within that I did, I am creating characters.
Right.
But in there also, it could be an aspiration of mine, of who I want to be. Like there's Ruth in this,
Ruth, yeah.
Ruth, who is, she's a writer. What is she? She's a writer, and she also works at, she's a reporter and a writer, and then she has a daughter. It's kind of like I try to create the similarity with me, but not to full force
Right.
with her. So yeah, of course, it depends. But my poetry, I like to keep it personal, in where when my love pieces are what I've experienced. I haven't been able to expand my fantasy in that in that way where I can write about fantasizing about something and just being creative on that part. And that's being honest.
Yeah.
I when I write my love piece, I'm thinking about my love. I'm thinking about the love of my life, and I think about how we do what we do. Right? And try not to put everything out there, but just to put that in, like to create my pieces. So.
No, that's amazing. That's greatly explained. I feel like those things, have to be explained, for this episode of talking about poetry, because you don't know who's gonna watch this, right? So you may have a group of people who are experienced in poetry, right? That may get some of this, and you might have somebody that's like, hey, I want to watch this episode so I can fully get an understanding of poetry. So they're hearing different things that we're talking about, like different dynamics, different angles that a person could go, like with poetry, different places that you can pull from, to write, right? So even times when you and me had conversations about, writer's block, and we said that it was topic block, and when you think of how to get inspired, you get past the block part, right? Because you got to open yourself into more things to get inspired by, right? So that's where the block is, I feel.
Yeah.
The block is coming from when you're like, what do I talk about next?
Yeah.
Well, step outside, listen to music, turn on the TV. You know, there's so many different options.
Or ask God to
Right.
allow you to use
Right.
your gift,
Yeah.
because I think, and that's
Awesome.
kind of
Yeah,
like
you're right.
what I would want to say, especially for this episode with people who are trying to figure out themselves and trying to understand: am I a poet? Am I a writer? What is it I'm here? I love to write, but is this really what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
Get in contact with your creator, and he'll guide you through
tell you.
the next level and the next step. So for me, I would say to people, when it comes to writing, know exactly who you are. If you're a writer, or you just like to do this, even if you're doing it for fun, you want to make sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You want to make sense of what you're doing. And I know that I am fairly new to writing poetry, and I always put myself there, because I know that people have been writing much longer than I have, and may look at me like, where is she going? Where is she doing? Whatever. May not want to embrace my gift, or embrace the fact that I can actually write. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of, sometimes, don't let the devil use you, but it's kind of like, watch yourself with certain things, right? I don't take it for granted. I appreciate the fact that that part of my life has come to life, that I was able to grow with it, and I'm continue to learn every day. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm not a pro, but I love the steps that I've taken. I love the fact that I am creative in that form. There's so much to learn with poetry. It's not one set way to do it. People have different styles of writing. They can write about darkness, and I test myself to see how dark I can go. With that, I test myself to see how serious I can be, how erotic I can be. My different styles, and I know that if I put my mind to it, unlike everybody else, if you put your mind to it, you can get it done.
Yeah.
So that will be what we will tell the people who are trying to see if they want to write, or if this is for them. If you put your mind to it, you can get it done. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Like, who are they? And don't ever feel that anybody is better than you. They may have a different style of writing than you.
Yeah.
People may cling to them because they know them.
Yeah.
That
It's
doesn't mean
personal.
that they're better than you in any form of fashion.
Yeah.
I always say there's nobody better than me, and I'm not better than no one.
Yeah.
I may be able
It's
to
humbleness.
I may be able to do things differently than you, but that doesn't make me
Yeah.
better than you.
There you go.
Or that
That's the
other
word.
person might be able to stand there and recite a whole dictionary. That still doesn't mean that person is better than me.
Yeah.
Or they can recite poem after poem, and I maybe have to look and see what I'm talking about. I might not
Yeah.
be able to remember it, but that doesn't mean that they're better than me.
That's just a part of that person's gift. That's just a part
Yeah.
of what they're able to do.
Yeah.
So it's
So embrace
all,
yourself,
Yeah.
embrace that gift of God. And for you out there that may think that you're too powerful for it and that you're better than them, humbleness. Humble yourself.
Humble yourself.
Because it can be taken away from you, and you
Of
do
course.
not want that. We don't abuse our gift.
Come on.
We do not. We don't take it for granted. We don't abuse it. We don't think that we're better than anybody else. We don't try to talk people down because they may be writing and you don't expect them to write. You never expect them to be doing that. So now you want to have, you get, as we say, getting your feelings
Yeah,
about certain
yeah.
things, humbleness is important, I like to say that a lot with people who have kids, and even if you're going to have kids in the future, because that child have to grow up, and you never know we have to be careful just in general, because things fall on our kids that we would never expect it to. And that's because sometimes it's because of our behavior and how we treat people. I know I'm straying off a little bit from poetry, but
It's all good.
when it's time to talk, it's time to talk. So
That's right.
we just have to be careful, be humble, be appreciative, be happy that you can actually see other people express themselves, and you enjoy what they're writing. You can look and it's like, oh, this is a fire piece. This is a good piece. You go ahead. What is wrong with being happy for
Yeah.
someone?
Yeah. Well,
Just do your best.
I think
and
I can answer
if
that.
you think you need to be better, keep going at it. Trust me, you will get there.
I think people have to be happy with themselves. first before they can be happy for anybody else. So if you because of internal battles people are having within themselves, it's like you got to understand it. You can't. How do you expect them to, give you, anything? It's like they can't even give it to themselves. Work on you, right? And then you'll get to that place where you're able to love others. But it's very important to work on yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm grateful, because God gave me this heart that is just that I can't be like anybody else. And those who's going to be on my page, I just post a video today. What day is today? One of those. What day is today?
Today is the 4th
right?
of March.
And and it's kind of like love is so important in how we treat other people and stuff like that. I don't even know where I'm going with this conversation, but I forgot what I was going to say.
I got you. We bring it back to poetry, but yes, to all the poets, inspiring poets, out there, just step out here and just give your all, and don't worry about what the next person is doing. Mm-hmm. Just jump on it. If you know that this is for you, just write. Don't think about anything like a competition or anything like that. Just write. Just express yourself to the fullest. And when you get to the place where you feel comfortable that you want to share, because you never know. There's a piece somewhere in those bunch of pieces that you wrote that somebody needs to hear, right? And I feel like when we take away the selfishness out of us and we understand that there could be messages in things that we write that can do something for someone, where they could look at you and say, wow, I needed to hear this today, and to me, that's the power of writing. That's the power, of poetry. And no matter what form you deliver it, whether it's spoken word, whether it's written in text, posted on a page, because some people they like to receive it, differently. So you have some people out there where it's like, oh, I want to hear the audios. I want to hear the spoken words, right? Then you have some people that's like, give it to me in written form because I want to be the one to control the pace because your pace might be a little bit too slow or your pace might be a little bit too fast, but I want to absorb your words on my own pace.
You can't have it.
Yeah, so everybody has like their preference, like on how they want to, receive your work, and there's so many options out here, right? So if you don't like the way that this person delivers, their work, there's another person that you can go look at in the way that they deliver their work. But just know that there's many options. But where we all should be coming together and be clapping and showing unification is that we are all still doing poetry. This is a genre that that doesn't get as much talk about as other genres like out there, like other musicians and other artists and that do what they do. So I'm really proud of the growth of poetry.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that brings us to the ending of this episode. It's called Poetry.
Yes.
We're going to remind you to go get our books. It's on everywhere books are sold. The Scars I Come With and The Child Within. And also...
Oh, my books are Pages of Potency and Visual Revelations. And you can find those once again at Amazon.
Yay! And thank you for watching Two Chairs, One Chat with us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a family member, church member, whoever, whenever. Just let everybody know they can come and listen to us, have some really interesting conversation. We're at on YouTube at Two Chairs One Chat. We're also on Instagram at Two Chairs One Chat, our personal handles. I am Derry Cox and Derry's Poetry Lounge for my poetry.
Rudolph Thurman, and you can find me at Poetry Is, that's Poetry IZ Visual, and you can also, and we also have an email, which is Two Chairs One Chat at Gmail, and you know, we have said it before, but we'll definitely say it again. Feel free to email us any suggestions. Let us know how you feel about, you know, what we have done, you know, thus far, you know, the episodes, any kind of feedback, or even if there's certain topics that you want to see us cover, you know, like, you know, together, you know, we are definitely look them over and, you know, and see how we feel and try to, you know, be considerate.
Yes, thank you. And until next time, who is chatting in the chairs?
We are.